If your marketing's feeling a little pushy, draining, or like you're always trying to convince people to work with you, well, there's probably a really good chance that you're approaching it from the wrong mindset. The truth, people don't want to be sold to, they want to be guided. Hello and welcome to another episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple. I'm your host, Jenny Lyon, and today I'm talking about the marketing mindset shift, how you can go from selling all the time to guiding, which is what you really need to do to nurture your audience. Let's get into it. So, the most effective marketing today doesn't shout, "Buy me." It really whispers, "Let me show you how." And when you make this shift from selling to guiding, then everything gets easier. Your messaging, your conversations, your conversions, your client relationships, really everything. So today I want to walk through a few different things, why traditional marketing is really losing its edge, how to reposition your content to build trust and value, and easy ways to step into your role as a guide. So, first things first, old school marketing really relied on pressure tactics and scarcity and really shouting in your face, really loud calls to action. But today, buyers are really more informed and more resistant. So, if your content is always promoting without giving value first, then your audience will probably tune out really quickly. Your marketing really needs to feel helpful. It needs to feel relevant and timely. So instead of trying to close every single lead right away, the goal is to really guide them through a journey that naturally leads them to you at the end and naturally leads them to a yes. So what does it mean when we say be a guide and not a salesperson? So a guide isn't just focused on pitching. They're really focused on helping. And when you position yourself as someone who understands what your ideal client needs, where they're at now, where they want to go, you really become this trusted resource, not just another brand, not just another person trying to get the sale. So if you think back in your lifetime, if you think back to your favorite teachers, favorite mentors, or even your favorite creators, they really educate, right? They educate, they inspire, they make you feel like success is possible, that it's within reach. So that's really what we want your new role to be in your marketing strategy. So if that's something that feels like, I'm not even sure where to go, well, keep listening. So how do you use your content to educate instead of convince? So when you're guiding, you're really using content to show people what's possible and how to get there. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. So you can create really valuable content like tutorials. Tutorials are great because they kind of walk someone through the process, right? So something kind of like what I'm doing today, kind of giving you those step-by-step process. It could be tips, just maybe tips like I'm talking about today. It could be how-to blogs, things like that. Things where you kind of really dig in to sharing the steps, on how to get there. And it could be something like behind the scenes stories. So I've talked a lot in the past about behind the scenes content, and I feel like now more than ever, if you consume any type of social media, you will see every good creator out there showing you kind of a peek behind the curtain. And I feel like that is really something that is very interesting to people. You'll see it in the engagement. And it's funny, I follow certain creators for different types of things. So, for example, I follow someone who talks just about messaging, but they recently moved and they've been sharing some content around moving and packing and unpacking their new home. And I'm seeing that engagement on those type of posts really drive up. She did one recently where she showed just setting up her new office, more engagement than her other marketing type emails. So just think about what type of behind the scenes content could I share? It could be something as simple as how do you set yourself up for success every single day, or maybe different types of mindset tips, or mindset shifts that you do in your own business, or things to keep you on track. It can be a lot of different things, but people do love that type of content. It could be client success spotlights. So this is really great because it helps your ideal client see someone else who has been in their position before, but they're at that end goal that your ideal client is looking for right now. So if you can show, hey, this person was exactly where you're at today, but hey, look at them now. Look at what they've achieved. And they've done that by completing X, Y, and Z. It could even be something as simple as thoughtful posts that really explore a mindset shift or an industry myth. So maybe you just dig into, something along the lines of, this is something that most people believe to be true in this particular industry, but hey, this is why it's not true. It's a myth, or this is how you can kind of change your mindset or your perspective so that you're not really focusing on the, how do I get there? But more, this is possible. This is something that can really be achieved. And really, this type of content builds connection while also building authority at the same time. So a pro tip that I like to share, I share this over and over again. Over the past month, I've been doing a ton of workshops. And one thing that has come up again and again in these workshops, especially ones where we're talking about reaching out to people, following up, your messaging, is to give before you ask. So offer something helpful, something valuable. Could be a checklist, could be a story, a blog, a video, it could be so many different things. But before pitching your product or service, give them something of value to give them as that jumping off point where your product or service will make the next logical step in their journey. So the messaging shift that really makes everything click really comes down to a few things. So when you really start to step out of that selling mode and into more of the guiding mode, your messaging really shifts from, hey, here's what I offer, to, hey, here's how I can help you. So we've really, over the years, my team and I have helped our clients really streamline their funnels so that they can convert more of these type of leads like this. So that is something that if you need help, any step in the process, reach out. My marketing team, they're taking all of my consultation calls now and doing some really great stuff. It's been a lot of fun to kind of step out of that role and let my team shine. But Amber, who does all of my consults, is incredible at any types of like funnels or different types of like mindset marketing, the things we're talking about today. So if you do need help, please don't hesitate to reach out and schedule a call at jennylyon.com/marketing. Okay, now we want to talk about when and where do you actually ask for the sale? Because of course, guiding doesn't mean that you're avoiding the sale completely. It really means that you're inviting your audience to work with you after you've shown that you understand their needs. And also after you've shown that you can provide them value even before they become a paying customer. So here's some ways to do that. You can include really valuable calls to action in your nurturing content after you give them something of value. You can use something as simple as a PS in your emails that offer a really gentle offer. You can also offer mentions within your Instagram stories or wherever you're sharing your success examples. And of course, you can always add your call to action wherever it feels really natural. So it might be on your website, it might be on a landing page, just somewhere where it feels like it logically makes sense, but it isn't screaming in their face to, hey, I need you to convert today. So when it comes to calls to action, I really like to think of those as, like I said before, that logical next step. We don't want it to feel like jarring or a hard pivot. It needs to be like, hey, you're here. Here's something of value that I'm going to offer you for free. I want to help you to move from being stuck where you're at today to a little bit closer to your goal. And then, hey, here's some services, here's some products that we offer that can help you even further along in your journey and help you get to that end goal much quicker. So I thought I would also share some real examples from our clients. So we have a client who is a mindset coach, right? It's kind of very interesting, but she was struggling to sell her coaching package. So we really dialed in, we dug into the nitty gritty with her, and we went in and reworked all of her emails, her landing page copy, all of these things that really tie together her website to make her content and messaging more reflective of a guiding voice, right? So sharing her own journey from the very beginning and then showing the actionable tips that helped her to get to be at a point today where she can coach other people. And just from redoing her messaging, that's all we did. We didn't change any steps in the funnel. We didn't change the way the funnel was set up. We literally just rewrote the copy. She saw a 40% increase in her discovery calls booked. We have another client who's a copywriter. And as you know, with AI, copywriting has gotten tougher and tougher to sell that type of service. And she really had moved away from listing her products and services. And instead, we really pushed her to start creating mini trainings. And we did those on social media. So not only did we really quickly see her engagement increase, but her DMs started to get flooded with requests for people to work together. Because, with AI now, we're not seeing as many people needing help with copywriting, unless it's really detailed messaging, which we still do a ton of. But really shifting her to those mini trainings really helped to just pivot her business and continue moving forward. And if you're wondering, well, how do I even start? How do I start becoming a guide for my customers today? Well, you don't have to overhaul your entire brand. Don't do that, because I feel like a lot of people feel like I need to kind of throw everything out and start over. You don't. Instead, what you need to do is just start small. So sit down, maybe this weekend or today, whenever you have some time, but do it soon, and review your last 3 social media posts or your last 3 emails, and really look at your messaging. Were you helping or were you selling? And then, based on that information, create one piece of content that solves a real problem for your audience. Once you do that, reword one call to action to focus on the transformation and not the service or product that you're trying to sell. So this shift really will build trust, and trust, believe it or not, leads to conversions. And when you position yourself as a guide instead of a seller, your marketing becomes more effective. It feels more human, and it definitely will feel more aligned to the way that people are buying today. And you're going to find that you're going to no longer need to chase those leads because you're leading them. And of course, if you do need any help at all to step into your role as a guide in your own business, then please do reach out. My team and I are here to help you in a variety of ways, whether it's just something as simple as looking at your messaging and maybe reworking it, to maybe auditing your overall funnel to find any gaps and really to ensure that we're moving people through that journey in a real seamless way where, again, you're guiding them and they're not guiding you. All right, well, that's what I have for you this week on this episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple. I hope you found this content helpful. I'll see you next time. And as always, bye for now.